Welcome to Sewing Out Loud, the official podcast of Zede Sewing Studio. Here are your hosts, Zede and Mallory.
Sewing Out Loud. Hello, and welcome to the podcast. I'm Mallory Donahue.
And I'm Zede Donahue.
And this is now it's like an annual thing, right? Our Common Threads podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, you probably should tell everybody what Common Threads is.
Right. So Common Threads is the Babylock influencer conference where they have their influencers come in from around the country, and we all get together and have a fabulous time and learn about Babylock product and learn about each other. Right? And it really just ends up being magical because there's lots of really fun, creative people there. And sometimes I was calling it a sewing blogger conference, but it is they're, influencers and somehow.
Not everybody's a blogger.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I mean, there's representatives from, Better Homes and Gardens and Threads and magazines, right.
Publishers, yes,
right.
Exactly. And then there are some bloggery people and stuff. It's bloggery people. I mean, everybody has a blog now. You have to have a blog if you're breathing. Yes, right. You have to have one. So we did our podcast last year, and we talked about how Babylock hosted a panel on diversity in the sewing world, and that was kind of the focus of our Common Threads podcast last year. But we also mentioned how we drafted leggings with people on a whim, right?
Right.
And then this year we
were actually asked to do it.
We were sanctioned. Yes.
We were actually invited to do it.
Yes. We were not told, but we were invited to actually teach our leggings class.
So if no one's familiar with the Made to Measure Leggings Class, we have one.
Yes, we do. And actually, if you are unfamiliar with it, it's because I haven't filmed new promos to go in the ad spots in the podcast, and Sam keeps trying to whip me into
Except I wear them every day.
I know. We talk about Made to Measure leggings all the time.
And I probably hashtag M2M leggings at least 2 to 3 times a week.
And so do a lot of our followers and our students. They really are great. And this whole journey of teaching these drafting classes, and then now we're coming out with our first pattern, right?
Right.
This has been a really interesting time to talk about what we'd want to draft, what we'd want to use a pattern for, what we'd want to there are all these options, for ways to get the clothing on your body, right?
That's right.
And leggings are definitely a great thing to draft, to get familiar with your body. And we did it on a whim last year, or on the fly, or whatever, kind of off the top of our heads.
We had just finished taping ours.
I don't know if we'd finished taping it, but the class wasn't published yet.
Oh, okay. Maybe we were in the middle of it or something.
Yeah. So the class was not published, but we had the technique and everything.
You might be right. We might have been I know we had the technique.
Well, sure.
Forever, but yeah, but we were in the process of getting it online.
So when we did it last year, you drafted by hand, and we didn't really try to teach people hey, this is exactly what we're doing.
No, they watched me, and they watched me draft, and then you helped them put them together.
Yes, yeah, and we were sort of well, this is kind of the formula that we use. Just let us take your measurements, drafting them out, and so it was kind of impressive to people, and people were excited about it, and a lot of people were sorry they hadn't gotten to make their leggings, or were hey, yeah, let me know when the class is live. So it was, something that resonated with people, even people who were not garment sewers. They were excited to make.
People who were not garment sewers, or who had not garment sewn in a while.
Yeah.
Were excited and wanting to garment again.
Yes, they were wanting to garment again. That's a great way to put it. So this year we were asked to do it, and Babylock gave us a lot of time to do it, and that was good. And we had to teach 50 plus people.
Yes.
How to
draft their own leggings
how pattern. To measure themselves.
Yes.
How to do a little bit of math.
Right.
How to draft. and how to construct their leggings. I don't want to shortchange us, okay?
I don't want to shortchange us either, because if you think all these people sew, they don't.
That's right. You said at the beginning.
Or they don't sew garments. Like some of them may sew quilts.
Or bags.
Or bags. But, they may not be used to putting something on their body.
Right. And so this is very foreign. And so that sort of puts us in like two places. Or there are two like kind of funny things going on, because last year it was kind of anybody could watch or do if they wanted to, and there was like no pressure. But here we were like these presenters, and I had these two conflicting things going on in my mind. I wanted to really encourage people to do it, and let them know how to do it. But I wanted to be like, but you don't have to. But, we're here teaching it. But I also thought, if someone was up here teaching a bag, like they wouldn't apologize. They would be like, I'm teaching you to make a bag.
Right.
And here I was like trying to be like, I had this little twinge in the back of my brain. And maybe, Amy Smart of, what's her blog called? It's like Amy's Creative Side. She's the one who did the charity project, the bags. The drawstring bag. And I could tell, she said something like, oh, I'm excited for you all to make my pattern or something. I'm sure there's a little trepidation no matter who you are, like presenting,
right,
to the audience. But I was like, oh, I shouldn't like apologize for our leggings class, because we worked really hard on it. But
and we had a skit and a presentation.
Okay, when we start to make ourselves available for tour, okay, which I would think would be like spring of 2019, right? We have a skit, just so you know. It's really good.
With props.
And it's funny. Props, inflatable food.
People were laughing and clapping.
Slight acrobatics,
yes.
Right?
Now, they might have been laughing because it was so bad, but they were laughing.
Yes. So we have a skit. And so we presented this skit. And this was the reason the skit was brought up. Like, we weren't just like, hey, we're making leggings. Let's get to measuring, right? We wanted to let people know that everyone is welcome to make and wear.
We were giving a leggings education.
And pep talk, right?
About what you wear leggings for.
And why it's okay for anybody in
the whole world to wear leggings.
Anyone with legs to wear leggings.
Right.
And because if you don't have legs, you
might...
Well,
they could just hang on your waist and
Well, that's true. Or
dangle there or something. Yeah.
But if you made them and you didn't have legs, maybe they'd be called something else. They'd be called like a short or a brief or something.
Like torso covers.
Yeah, there you go. So anyway, but yeah, no matter the legs you have.
And we had men in the class.
And no matter the genitalia you have. And we kind of introduced people to who we are because, Amy Smart of Amy's Creative Side, I think she has tens of thousands of Instagram followers and stuff like that. And who else, people getting up there and presenting who, I don't know, they're just they're much more well known. And so I wanted to let people know that we're the ones who run the Facebook group where you can swear,
Some people know us. And we have the biggest sewing podcast for garments going on.
Well, yeah. And we I don't know if we have the biggest one, but maybe.
I think we have the most out there, published.
Maybe
probably.
The most published, yeah. But we... I wanted to let them know who we were, so we're the ones with the sewing group where it's okay to swear, and we're the ones where...
We're all-inclusive.
Yeah, so we talked about genitalia. I talked about why you want to make your own...
You can swear, but you can't be mean.
That's right. And then I also showed... I kind of forgot about this. I showed the pattern fails...
that's right.
The
ready-to-wear leggings.
Yeah, the Leaning Tower of Pisa coming out of your crotch and stuff, and people thought that was funny. I don't know if we scandalized anybody, but it was pretty funny. So we let people know who we were. We got out inflatable food. We did some acrobatics in our skit, and we think we warmed up most people.
We had a PowerPoint, and then we didn't have a computer, and we did it anyway, and we still looked okay.
Yes, we did.
We still survived, and I think we would be considered successwil at it.
Yes. So then we had to teach people how to measure themselves. That was first up, and that's why we needed the warm-up, because we were going to be we had to teach.
We were now everybody has to yell their numbers out loud.
Right. We had to teach the class on the first day of Common Threads, which is a half day. it doesn't start until like 3 or 4. And then like all these things happen.
Right.
And then like there's a full day and then there's another little half day, right?
And there are people that are new.
Yeah.
Like many people are repeated. But I would say this year, it could have been a third of the people were new. There were like a lot of new people, I think.
There were a lot of new people. So we got into measuring, and I had like a few people in the group, in the Facebook group for Common Threads that talked about coming and everything. And so I'd asked Chris Thompson, I PM'd him. I said, will you be my measuring, guinea
Model.
pig or model or whatever? And he was like, oh, for sure, So Chris is the Tattooed Quilter on Instagram. And he is, I cannot remember his title, but like his real job.
His real job is with the Gap.
Is working at,
he's been with them, what, is it 15 years?
A long time. And he doesn't just like work at the Gap, okay? He's
No. He works for the
head of visual.
It's like visual marketing and like they study color and this and that.
He's like in charge.
He's in charge of like what the clothes will be next season.
Yes. So it was really neat to
what you're going to see on the shelves.
Yeah. So he actually got to present later in the conference, and it was wonderful to hear from him too. But he said he'd be my measuring model, and it was so lovely to be able to measure someone who just like, wasn't self-conscious.
Right.
And, I think it was good to have him up there. And anyway, so we measured him. Everybody measured themselves, and then we had everybody do their worksheets. And then I got to call out Heather Valentine.
Oh my gosh.
Heather, you talk about people who like haven't garmented for a long time,
right,
or who have never garmented or blah, blah, blah. Well, Heather's like, she has this very dry wit, and she is a beautiful woman. And I remember meeting her last year, and I think maybe in her business, she doesn't let on how funny she is. And I think she's so funny. Or maybe I just don't see that part of her or whatever, but she runs a quilting design, thing. That's her thing. She doesn't do garments publicly or whatever. And she was just like, well, I went to school for this. I should know how to do this. I was like, okay, cool. So she did some of the calculations, like she just mixed up some of the numbers, or she used a number from the worksheet in the wrong place on the drafting sheet. Yeah, she had her
thigh like going sideways or
whatever.
It was bizarre.
We got to have some, make some good-natured fun of her, and it was pretty hilarious. And she like told someone else to like do it wrong. So yeah, like their knee was like 3 inches away from their thigh or something like that. It was hilarious. I couldn't. But okay, I'm bringing that up because most everyone else's patterns actually turned out everything was looking very reasonable.
Yes.
But Heather, we were like, well, Heather, you were the problem child,
There were very few fitting issues. They really were fitting very, very well.
Of course, my brain, when I think that we have to teach leggings class to 50 people in the sewing industry, and this is our first time really teaching it live.
Right. Well, with that many people like that, yes.
With that many people. Now, I never taught leggings actually in person.
You never did. Yeah.
I taught like t-shirt and I taught jeans and I taught
all
these
everything
other
else in the world.
But technically,
well, we never. I guess, and we didn't teach this exact format.
Right. No,
this was after we developed the class, and we were trying to teach the class as we taught it online.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, even though you're kind of like, well, I mean, like I've taught a million sewing classes, like, and you're totally right. But still my brain goes, everyone's going to draft and cut out their leggings and they're going to put them on their bodies and they're just going to explode or something.
Well, I was also afraid about how tired everyone was.
I was
People
too.
had traveled, and we started at like 7 o'clock that night.
Yeah.
And, I was like, oh my gosh,
sure
what is going to happen?
8.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it was 8.
What's going to happen when these people are like all bogged down and we're going, measure this and stick a yoga block up your butt and, all
and
that.
divide this by, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, absolutely. But no, everyone's pattern's looking really reasonable, except when Heather tried to like jump the gun. It was so funny that, I so enjoyed talking with her that night though, and I was tired too.
We were tired.
So we got everything measured, but we didn't cut out the leggings that night, right? We just got everybody's pattern drafted.
We got everything drafted, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, cliffhanger. Here, we got the patterns drafted. To find out what happens next, stay tuned through the message break.
Hi, Mal.
Hey, Mom.
I heard you were easy.
Oh, no.
What does that mean?
No, it means I think what you really heard was, wow, Mallory, your easy tea looks so good on you.
Oh,
Yes.
I should have known that it was something about something you made.
Like you said, you're getting into your golden years. Sometimes, mishearing things. It happens.
No, you're
right?
the one that mishears things. I know this. You make lapel pins about it.
Okay, so I am currently wearing an Easy Tee, and I wear them all the time. The Easy Tee is a semi-fitted, short-sleeve T-shirt made out of a woven fabric, and you draft the Easy Tee to fit your measurements by taking the Easy Tee class.
Well, how do I take this class?
It's an online class that you can watch anytime on sewhere.com. To purchase the class, go to sewhere.com/EasyT. That's just EASYT.
Is this on my computer?
It's on your computer. It's on your phone. It's on your iPad. The class is divided up into short, easily consumable segments, some of which you may not ever need to watch ever again, but some of which you might want to revisit. So you have the ability to mark lessons as completed and also to star lessons so you can go back and revisit the ones that are most important to you.
And I can vouch, Mallory's Easy Tee is a lot easier than Mallory is.
Once again, go to sewhere.com/EasyT to begin your pattern drafting journey. Sewing out loud. And we're back. So this conference, of course, this isn't like when you're a dealer at Babylock, where it's like you have to come attend this so that you can get the machines, so that you can sell them.
But you have to actually pay attention and sign the certain paper. And
yeah, no one actually has to pay attention to you necessarily.
That's right. Nobody has to be nice to you.
No. Now, of course, we're in a group of wonderful, creative people, and everyone is, pretty conscientious and everything like that. But we get in, and some people are raring to go at 8:30. Right. And then some people are like, oh, I wasn't supposed to get here till 9, so they're not there till...
I have to have my coffee.
Yeah, and, la. So anyway, we get everybody on the same page. We start cutting out leggings, and...
Actually, I start cutting out leggings.
Right. So Mom cut out the leggings.
We were trying to decide how to do this because we started with 2 cutting tables for 50 people. And we did think, well, maybe you can cut 2 pair out on this table.
Yeah.
Right? And can we cut another pair out? We were looking at how are we going to get 50 pair of leggings cut, put together, put on people, fitted on people in 3 hours.
Oh, and you know who didn't want to trace was Kelly of Kelby Sews. If any of you have made that 1-hour basket, that is her design. It was really big, last year around Common Threads.
Truly asked me too, remember? And I was like, well, just...
Yeah, Truly didn't want to trace.
Just cut it out, and then you'll be all screwed up.
We were getting a little salty, I'm not going to lie. Okay, so
Truly, I just bit your head off. Well, sorry.
Yeah, so Kelly was like, I don't want to trace. And she'd borrowed my iPhone charger. And I said, I'm taking the iPhone charger back if you don't trace your pattern. I said, you can't have it unless you trace your pattern.
So we were a little testy.
Right. So anyway, everyone agreed to trace their patterns. And
after Mallory and I each had a tantrum. No.
Yes, exactly. But, I forgot to tell people, to mark the grain line and stuff because we were people were so excited.
Well, the other thing that happened is people added seam allowance, but we didn't tell them to. Right.
Things like that. Oh, and you know what, Mom, you're like, hey, Mallory, people are coming over here with no grain line and no stretch and no hems.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, everybody put a hem on, okay? And then Russell Conti, a lot of people know him. Some people on our Facebook know him. He used to run a dealership in California.
He's Soapbox.
Yes,
One. SEWPBOX1
on Instagram. Yeah, so he's there. And I see him telling people to do the flippy-uppy, make it a trapezoid thing. And I was like, hey, everybody, Russell, this is how you're supposed to do this, So anyway, it was a little crazy.
Right.
And, but I did think at the end, I was like, this is so crazy. If we were only doing this for 18 people, we would have been
right.
really good.
So
Or 20, 25.
so how did we have 50 people cut this out? What we did is I started cutting out everyone's leggings. That's how fast I am, everyone, with
That's
the
right.
rotary cutter.
That's right. No, it was the best way to do it.
Because we had these bolts of fabric, and how do you, everybody needs a different amount of fabric. So anyway, everybody picked, their fabric, and then they got in line. And then, some Babylock people were helping cut. And I think you helped cut at the end
I cut
there.
a few too, but it was easier. Of course, the leggings pattern is not difficult to cut out.
Right.
I mean, it's cut out one. You do one set of cutting.
You're basically
right?
cutting out one piece.
Yeah.
Right.
So we did that. Riley Blake provided the fabric, and it was so much fun. And one of the fabrics is the diamond fabric that I've now made the floozy doozies
That's
out
right.
of. So it was like this cotton spandex knit. It wasn't like an activewear fabric.
No, and it was actually the same fabric type that we had used the year before that they had brought. So we knew that it would work, or we would be, satisfied with that fabric.
And Mom did bring with her a lot of leggings that she had made, so we could show people, hey, here's this power mesh waistband, and we could show people
The hacks, the different fabrics.
and like the different fabrics. And I was
Right.
like, so then I got to talk about crotch sweat and sliding, like
crotch
different.
sweat. You talked
Yeah, I
about
talked
that.
about
I
crotch
don't
sweat. I was
remember
like,
that.
everybody's got different crotch sweat styles. Some people like to wear the cotton. Some
Right.
people like to wear the
okay,
this.
yeah.
Da, da, da. And you're running, and maybe you want, fabric that will let your legs slide
Right.
past each other easily. And so we got to talk about all of that. But you cut out all the leggings, and people started putting them together. And we got
Right.
to talk about the 3-thread narrow a little
That's
bit.
right.
So
And we also got to show people when we hemmed and everything how to secure that stitch in the round on the cover stitch.
okay, but we talked about the 3-thread narrow, and we talked about
Yep.
how, we're like, we don't know what your experience with this is, but like sometimes people really resist us on this, but we promise, like, give it a try on these leggings and see how you feel. And I'm up there in my 3-thread narrow, and I do like a big like squat, and I like kick my leg up as high as I can, which isn't as high as it used to be, but it's still pretty high, and I'm like, it's okay. And then
And I didn't tell you about that.
Well, hold on.
Because you had me do like the same thing too, or something you said, and
Yeah.
Mom too. And then I raised my leg above my head or whatever. And I don't even know who it was. One person goes, "Do you two dance or something?"
But I have to tell you that Sarah Gallegos, and she is the host of Fonz and Porter Love
Right.
of Quilting, right? So if any of you watch that, she is the she's the host of that.
She is funny and sweet.
She is
She's silly.
and so beautiful, right?
Yeah, she is.
So
She is.
This is so lovely. Like, you could really tell she runs a dealership with her family.
Right.
She has been on all these sewing shows. She
Right.
has to host other people's like content and move it along,
Right,
like
right,
when I was
right,
on the
right.
show and everything. And she came up to me and she's like, "So Mallory, I know that you all really like this 3-thread narrow, but," and like her leggings are like coming apart.
That's right. She showed them to me, and I said, "There's something wrong with that stitch on that machine."
Yeah, she was so nice. She wasn't like, "Hey, no, the 3-thread narrow does
Right.
not work." So like they had these new machines, and they had the wave function.
Somebody had hit the wave function
Versus-
like there was setting was off is what it was.
versus the
Okay,
overlock.
so while we're here and thinking,
But I thought it was so nice of her to.
well, yes, and while we're here and while Sarah was put that so nicely, there are some people that don't put it nicely. I think there's some people in the group that don't listen or don't get it. Okay, like I just want to tell these people, okay, it works. And your serging should not come apart at the end of your seam. If you're serging something and it falls apart at the end of your seam, or it falls apart at the intersection or something, okay, your serger is not set right. Your stitch is wrong. Your stitch is not right. It's not that the 3-thread narrow doesn't work. It's that your 3-thread narrow is not working.
That's right, and that's why
Yes.
Sarah's 3-thread was
Right.
like, it was opening up a lot. And
But see, I think it was smart because she came to me and said, "Look
Yeah.
at this," and I said, "Something's wrong."
Mm-hmm.
What I said is something's out of tension. Is what I said. I said I think something's out of tension, which is exactly what happens when you
You
get
do the
that
wave stitch.
particular thing. Right.
Well, regarding the group, we always get new people. Not
Right.
everybody's seen all the videos.
But here's the problem. Here's the problem.
Not everybody
We
watches
get
the
people,
video.
new people in the group, and other group members say, yeah, you can't use it. Well, I'm sorry. I'm here to say, what do we figure I've been using it? Like 30 or 40 years?
Right.
Yes. And yet, not yet have I had a dance costume or a skating costume. I'm talking about, or a aerial costume or a gymnastics costume fall apart on a performer. So I don't know what you do in your daily work that would make a good thread narrow pop. But if these performers don't make them pop, there's something wrong with your stitch. It's not that the stitch doesn't work.
Well, and do what works for you. But anyway, we've done this podcast already, Mom.
Yes.
I mean, we can't. I don't know what else we can.
I'm just saying. Saying.
So
I just got to say it because it seemed like this week there was a lot of them on our Facebook group, and I was just like, "Oh my God, I want all these people in a room, and I want to show them."
Yes, I would.
Just want to show them like in person. Look, this is it. Because I have had people come to me where they've made a leotard, especially if it's for a tiny kid or something, and they've used a 4-thread, and it's so bulky, and the seams look bad because it's bulky and it's full, and that's not what you want a leotard to look like.
Right.
All
right, tangent.
Okay. Take my soapbox away,
I just thought,
Mr. Russell Conti.
Yeah, I just thought it was really nice of Sarah.
I wanted to tell Russell that my mother used to say to me, like, when we would start talking and interrupt people and things like this, or you were trying to get the floor, she'd
like
say,
how?
Like what? Like what? Like who talk over who?
Yeah.
She'd say, do you need a soapbox to stand on? Because I don't know if you understand.
Yes, that's why it's,
soapbox and a microphone.
Yes.
Would you like a soapbox and a microphone? Well, I've got my microphone right in front of me.
That's right, you do.
That's right.
I think that your soapbox is just like part of your body, Mom. Okay.
Oh, you think so?
Yes.
You think like I've been like doing this so long, interrupting
inherent.
people that it's like an integral part of my being.
I thought you were going to say I've been doing this so long, sewing, but you said interrupting people.
Well, both those things.
Yeah, sewing and interrupting people since
I
1953.
I also do interrupting. I also interrupt people when they're sewing sometimes.
Yeah, no, that's one of the things,
I just think that if people have a successful 3-thread, it will make them so happy. I want them to feel it. I want them to feel
and
that
that's
success.
That's what we're looking for. We're not looking to be right.
No, I'm looking for your success. That's what I'm looking for.
That's not what frustrates us. I think sometimes people, and I don't know, I mean, I'm sure we can come across as, we are, frustrated.
Preachy?
And preachy or whatever. But I'm really like, if we had this figured out for you on your machine, you would just be on fire.
I know. And that's the reaction we get from people.
Yeah. Well, it is when they figure it out.
When they've got their settings good and they've got their machine good and
true.
it works. They're like, oh my gosh, you've changed my life.
No, it is very true. And that makes me feel good too.
So we did change some people's lives.
Yes.
That day, telling them about the 3-thread narrow.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because a lot of the people, despite what you might think, because Mallory and I are so serger savvy, a lot of sewers just aren't serger savvy, or they're very limited. They've used that serger for 1 or 2 little functions, and they're afraid to go outside of there, it seems like. Or they just finished their seam allowances or something.
I don't even want to say they're afraid. I think that's not the right way to
it's just
say
like
it.
that part of sewing is not well developed for some reason.
Yes, and I think it's because the serger isn't the first thing you learn.
Well, it's also new.
And I think you sort of don't know what you don't know, and you know a lot about the serger.
Right.
Zede. Like, I'm saying that.
Zede fell in love with the first time she touched a serger.
Really,
that's what happened.
And I'm sure there are parts of sewing where, we don't know what we don't know.
I think the one thing about me is, like, I have learned to sew well, but I love machines.
We do.
I really
machines.
like
Yes.
the mechanics of the machine and the subtlety of how they work, and I like that part. And not all sewers are interested in that part.
No.
And you don't particularly have to be.
Yeah.
To be a good or accomplished sewer or a successful sewer, you don't have to know the ins and outs of your machine. Not everything. There's a few things. Thread with your presser foot up, please. But we like machines.
Yeah, we do like the
Yes.
machines. I think that is something that, maybe is a little, and actually, I think that is good, but I see some people doing some things with machines that I'm like, oh my gosh, you did this amazing thing with a machine
Yes.
that I would be less than thrilled to work on. And
Right.
I could never comment on someone's photo and say that without that coming across as terrible. But sometimes I'm like, oh my God, she just made this costume on this machine, and I know that it's possible to do it on that machine.
Right.
But I know it'd be like so much easier on a machine with, like a stronger motor. Or whatever. Okay,
Right.
we are totally getting off topic here, and
No, we aren't.
I'm
We taught those people. Well, we talked about the Babylock sergers.
Yeah.
We talked about the thread, right?
Uh-huh.
And we showed them also that your thread didn't have to match.
We talked about thread
So
blending.
we showed some of our things.
Yeah.
And I felt real good about that because people felt positive about those.
So I think what you're
those
saying, and what I
things.
kind of wanted to bring this all around to, is leggings class turned out to be about more than leggings, right?
Yes.
Yeah, really. And it turned out to be about bodies and about versatility of garments and how to fit yourself, and about equipment and thread.
I had people
all that.
asking me what is aerial or what is aerial yoga,
And about aerial
thing
yoga.
like that. Is it, what is that called? You do or whatever, and so I had explained some of the different things, like
So-
where they might get started, what they might do.
We only had we had one pair of leggings that was really off, and I won't say who it was, but she knows. One pair of leggings that it ended up
And
they were really
actually,
big.
she was really happy, and she was very much mismeasured.
Yes, and
is what
she
happened.
said when she got back home, she posted and she
Right.
said, "Oh my gosh, I redid my measurements. I had measured over my clothing." And she's like, lesson learned, just run to the bathroom and take your clothes off when you're
Yeah.
trying to get good measurements.
So naked.
And I said, yeah, the lesson that we can take from this is get naked as quickly and as efficiently as possible
Right.
when you're trying
as
to
much
make
as necessary. Get naked.
But we fixed her her leggings.
We fixed the pair she had, and she was
Yeah.
just thrilled with those. And she was someone, I think she was from Better Homes and Gardens.
Well, she was
No.
from a magazine.
She's from a magazine,
Yeah.
and she was not supposed to come.
Right.
And her
Yeah.
superior, whoever was, somehow had to step away, and she got to come into their place, and she was just tickled pink.
Yeah, she was like, I wasn't even supposed to be
Yeah,
here.
look what I've
you know?
done. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
So we had a really good time.
The other thing that I liked about that, so we had, I don't know how many different fabrics. I mean, there might have been 12 different fabrics, and actually not all of them were, people did not choose all of them. All of them weren't as appealing on the bolt
Yeah.
as others. But when people saw the fabrics they didn't pick made up, they're like, those look so good. I mean, so they saw the transformation of this flat piece of fabric. When it comes to this, look how great it looks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that when you cut up a fabric, to make anything out of it.
Yes.
A quilt, a
Yes,
bag, a
everything.
piece of clothing.
The transformation is amazing.
It really is. I think that was happening for Sam and me while we were making some easy tees. Like, oh my gosh, this fabric looks so much better as a piece of clothing.
Well, and I think a lot of the quilters think in a more one-dimensional.
Yeah.
Or I guess that's two-dimensional,
Yeah,
I guess.
yeah.
And I think that, when it went three-dimensional, it was like, whoa, it's something else. It's a different feel. It's a different look. It's a different, I just thought that was interesting to see those people realize that.
Yeah, the fabric designers in the group,
Right.
because I think it would be so cool.
And we were actually using some fabric that the designers
Designed,
were
they were
there.
there,
Were
yeah.
part of the group.
I always think it's really interesting because they're like, okay, we want these different scales and da 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 da, da.
Right.
And mostly it's focused towards, quilting,
Right.
these collections and things. And I'm like, yeah, I wonder, you can make garments out of all different scale prints and stuff, but I sort of wonder about what would a collection look like for
Oh, I got it right in my head, honey.
us or me?
I have it. I know it.
I don't know that, though.
How many stripes you think are in it?
Right, right. No, I know there's stripes
Just
in
look
it.
at the pond.
There you go.
Yeah, we have a lot
So-
of striped umbrellas.
So anyway, I just think it's really interesting to hear their design perspective. Well, and
Yes.
that Chris Thompson, he designs fabric
Right,
as
he
well,
does
and
too.
it was really
Well, he designs clothes too, in a sense. I
Yes.
mean, he picks colors and he picks patterns, and he talked to us about that.
Yeah.
What did he call it? Oh, he had a word for it. I can't remember, but there's this many solids, and then there's 2 prints
he
or
had
something.
like the cutest little names.
Yeah,
for things.
it was
He was
really-
like,
it
then
was-
I got my Poppin' Patsy
Right,
thing
right.
or whatever.
So in other words, if there's a T-shirt at the Gap, it's going to be in 4 solids and a large, maybe a large scale print and a small,
Right.
or a tiny stripe or something like that, and that's what takes care of the market.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And the merchandising and the
Right.
visual look of the clothing on
Well,
the floor.
Gap is all about merchandising, you guys.
Oh yeah.
All
Oh, yeah.
about it. If you walk in that store, just think about it. If you walk into the Gap and how
Right.
they have stuff lined up and how they have it on the shelves, and it's all about merchandising.
So we got to teach leggings class, and we focused on that a little bit more
Yeah.
for this Common Threads episode because that was really exciting for us.
And that second day, I wore the leggings that I had made the year before.
Yes, your impromptu
Right.
leggings. But I think that the rest of the conference was a lot of fun. Like
it was
hearing
a good
from
conference.
everybody else and doing all of the fun things. We got to go to the opera.
Yes, and we'll talk about that. Was Mallory went to the opera in her underwear showing.
We already talked about it. We
I
did
know.
that.
We
Remember,
did.
Like,
I
we
remember
forgot
we
that
did.
episode that Sam was like,
Right.
we've got an episode. It's like, what are
Right.
you talking
It's a-
about?
It was
And
about the dress.
yeah, it's like, she's like,
So
it's about
every
your
place I
dresses.
go, Mallory winds up in her underwear.
And now it's all around the internet because we're
Yeah.
releasing those floozy doozy
Yeah,
undies,
everybody's
right?
in their underwear.
Yep.
I did take part of my clothes off on stage at Babylock. I just now remembered that. I'll not talk about you so much.
Thank you. I was waiting. No, okay. Sure you won't. No.
Oh,
okay.
I forgot. I stripped at Babylock. Oh,
Well, so we're ready. I think I'm ready to teach 1,000 people
I
at
am.
once to make
I think
leggings.
that if
Not really.
anybody out there has a group they'd like a big group and like to do leggings all together and like me to give that convincing 3-thread narrow top and make change everyone's life. Change everyone's life.
Zede
I'm
is given
telling
the
you.
3-thread narrow talk, and she tries to tear off her clothing, but she can't because it's been seamed together with a 3-thread narrow. It's perfectly fine. Okay. So
You guys don't know how lucky you are. I go to all these aerial events and classes and workshops and everything, and I'm in my self-sewn clothes, and everybody's like, I just went to a conference and not a conference that was
Workshop.
Babylock, a workshop, and I'm in my self-made aerial clothing, and I'm with 2 of my teachers actually, and somebody complimented my outfit. Now I don't always tell people I made my outfit right away.
Right.
Okay, but person I was with said, "Yeah, she makes all that stuff," and they're like, "Oh, you should make those for a living. You should do this. You should do that." I say, "We have a class."
yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Sewhere.com/leggings. All right, everybody.
Maybe I should just embroider that on the butt of all of my.
We should
my
just get some
stuff.
heat transfer vinyl on
That's
there.
right.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you all for listening, and we have some really other awesome podcast topics coming up about pattern drafting and
Yes.
patterns coming out. So just stay tuned, and yeah, take it away, Mom.
So long and so happy.
Thanks for listening to Sewing Out Loud. For even more expert sewing advice, visit sewhere.com.